know that I'm sexy. I hope that you're ready to come here and get it with it.
Bitch, them girls in my pocket, boom, boom, in my wine, at the waist, in my pocket, boom, boom. Bitch, them girls in my pocket, boom, boom, in my wine, at the waist, in my pocket. Them girls in my pocket, boom, boom, in my wine, at the waist, in my pocket, boom, boom. Jamaican girls in my pocket, boom, boom, in my wine, at the waist, in my pocket, boom, boom.
Put it in his face and he come back.
I was telling on there about the screen. I'm moving my to a different phone today. So my hardware hasn't arrived. So my hardware hasn't arrived, which is a shame, but I did anticipate it might not be. And that's fine. So I thought I'm just going to mock up a stack for the things that I need to have done in terms of its functionality, even if it's going to be very, it's a bit precarious, this clamp I've got for my phone. It's really meant for a laptop. So now hopefully this is going to work, yeah. Just check, because you can have to start dance here for free. You can have to start dance here for free. Just want to make sure this is on. So obviously I've been a bit like all over the place in the other videos, and there is, that's just how I am when I'm researching and gaining information and an understanding of stuff. So let's just change the color. I'm sick of this color. Oh baby, you want me? Oh baby, you want me? Oh baby, you want me? Well, you can have the slap dance here for free. I love the vibe. I like a really vibrant color. Not that I'm like dead into pink or anything. A bit ethereal, a bit angelic. Orby stack. I'm free. Bum, 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 bum. Right, I've got a little sticker somewhere. Have I? Where are my stickers? Do you know what? I use that many different. I can't. Oh. Right. So I've got my order going to a locker box rather than my address, which might be worthwhile just in terms of how I feel about things. The only thing is, it doesn't pull up the colour that you used last time. Right, so purpose, physical AI companion, so it's ambient and it's orb shaped. So it's based on a freely available, very, very basic kit, which is ESP32, which is a development kit. So that is one thing, which is the device. So there's software for the device which calls audio input output. Oops. Audio input output, and then also visuals through an architecture called LVGL, which I haven't looked at all, apart from, let me tell you something I did do. So, I've probably got them in here actually. Look how cute it is. So, this is when I was messing around. I had, this was, by the way, this was me before I had the image of like with the mudra. I was just seeing what this one would do on that. So I took some AI generated visual UI mock-ups because this is such a basic device. I think that's part of what I want it to be because it's the architecture, the agent bit, which is the smart bit, but it still has to look away. And it's based on animations. So what I've done is that one wasn't one of the ones I liked. I used ChatGPT image. These are only basic, but asked GPT image to create a UI mock-up based on the things we've discussed, my visuals, the things I like, and it created a number. So say something like this to demonstrate that you're in conversation with it. So if we were to go to, let's just do it in here. Say I'm on a trial version of that. That's fine. I'll close that and come back to that. So this is what it's based on. Well, this is what it is. So this is a development kit, ESP32S3 N16RA. This one comes configured to use DeepSeek, but it is meant to be something that you can fully customize. It's certainly nothing ever that you put in production. I've got a different view of the way I want the orb to be, and I've got something else coming for that. But this is to just try a really lightweight kit because realistically, well, no, it's not realistically. The fact of the matter is all of the hard work is done in the cloud. So this little buddy is so basic. It has a screen. It has audio input, output. You can choose whether it has touch or not touch. Pretty sure I ordered the touch one. It's got an SD card, so you can load onto it that way, and you can also load onto it by USB-C. These are the very basic specifications, but the power of it is the fact that it can, as standard, offer time, weather, and dynamic animations. But realistically, it's calling the AI service to do, in this case, voice DeepSeek. But in my case, it's going to be an AI agent, and it's more to test the concept on a piece of hardware. I thought it'd be good for content as well. Wait for this to pop up, if it will. I can't tell you what, it really is a trial. Because when you do it to Mac, which is software that obviously comes with the Mac, it only allows it in full screen. But I mean, I suppose I can switch that on and on, can't I? That's a good idea, actually. I didn't think of that. It just means putting it on and off. Just means putting it on and off. I'm hoping that still gets shared. I don't know. I'll have to check. Maybe not. I need to see how that looks, whether that goes across. I don't see why it wouldn't. Well, it doesn't like it anyway. Brilliant. Just what I want, unless that's because that software is open. I'm not sure. Anyway, these are inconsequential. I can just keep doing this. So the visuals are by LVGL, which is a low, an efficient, low weight visual UI that operating system. So what I've got here is which will be an animation. At the moment, it's an image of, a video that's been generated in AI to show it in conversation. And I did a couple of different ones, I believe. I was looking to get one where it's a bit surprised. See different animations. Well, it's different videos. There was some other animations that I could try, which is, again, in concept. That one was rubbish. These were like notifications, like an arrival of a notification, because that's something it can do. I am conscious that because it's such a lightweight platform and device, I'm not to expect too much from it. I really like that shooting star around the cabin. I looked at another face, like I think the robot's the one, and I was just looking at different robots. It produces super cute Chinese robots. It's a China model that does really cute robots. See how this one's surprised. Now, that's a great video. The difficulty is it's obviously a round screen. But what I'm going to do is turn the videos of the animated robot. So just do mascot. Again, this is more for content, more for just understanding this server aspect and having a bit of fun rather than anything that's production ready, but it will lead to be able to demonstrate something with some other stuff I've got coming. So 10 videos to the animated mascot. Let's just make that's going to stop in a minute. This is so annoying. I'm not doing very well at it. It's, you know what? It's really hard to do things when you've got no money. You know, it is hard because you just, I mean, you are trying your best. Turn videos into an, but that doesn't matter. It's not, that's not a lack mindset. You know, I'm loving the fact that I'm like being resourceful and finding a way to get it done. 10 videos from the animated mascot into PNGs. So what I'll be able to do is upload that video to a tool or use, I can actually use Photoshop to do it. In that you add the video in and then just export each frame as a separate PNG. With this being so lightweight, I'll reduce the resolution on it and the quality. And quality. It is going to be like trial and error, and that's what I'm excited about. Reduce the resolution and quality, also some of the steps from the sequence. It might just be a bit laggy, but that's okay. And then that's got voice audio input and output. So one of the other components, so that's the device itself. And you've got the server. So this is what is the brain. It looks after the text-to-speech. It looks after the AI API call. It serves it to the device. And through an MCP configuration, it will have agentic tool calling. So the MCPs which are important to me, which I've sort of been flitting about and looking at, are memory 0, so memo. So it's actually a really cool API. You can self-host something similar, but memo is almost like a vector store, automatic MCP memory tool. So it uses the tool dynamically to update the memory, to retrieve from the memory via an MCP call, and then adds that into the LLM response. So there might need to be a bit more of a processing layer, but that's fine. It needs to have some like functionality aligned with personal use. So I'm thinking Outlook, Gmail, news, and then web scraping is important. I do need to look at the text-to-speech service, and obviously the server overall. So the tools, it's going to close in 15 seconds. I'm doing well here. Let me just try this. Let me try this, see if it does it, if I do it this way. Geesh, screen mirroring. Yeah, that's not going to work. Brilliant. Let me just check. Freeform. Does it come up live? I'm doing it live. Live from New York City. I also have a stream dock, which I got from China as well. All different buttons which you can hotkey onto it. So I'm hoping I can map a couple of commands for managing the screen while I'm doing all this. My applications do not want to open today. Now, I don't know why that is. Wouldn't call me surprised if it was something else. Let's just find today. Is it this one? Yeah. Let's see how instant this is. Hey, that's not bad. I'll take that. And I'll ride with it. Right. So, apart from the fact you're just going to make sure it's in view. So the text-to-speech service, I'm going to look at the server because there was some, it was sort of built for. But want to see what ones I can configure. If possible, I'd like to have DeepGram, mainly because the latency is good, and I also have credits because as a developer, startup developer. And then I'll need an LLM provider of choice. So I've said about fast, so fast inference, and I'm thinking Cerebus. If I want to go GPT OSS, that might be a I need to be over here. Reason that I'm suggesting perhaps GPT OSS, which is obviously their open source one, is that if anyone's doing this themselves, that's the easiest one to obtain. They might have a computer they can self-host it on. It's cheap and it's generally very good. So GPT OSS. Now, with it being very lightweight and the functionality, it's more like testbed stuff. If we go to the 20 billion parameter model, which is lightweight. Now, Cerebus' speed is just phenomenal. Things to consider with this are to obviously prompt it correctly, to include, explicit details on tool calling and functions. But also, the outputs need to be text only, conversational. But that's not to say that there isn't going to be another layer of AI processing within. It's a bit annoying that within the server, if it can be reconfigured, because there may be some tasks where, obviously in between like the tool calling, we'll have it go into one of the AI crawling tools that I've set up on Railway. But if the response from any of the calls is, say, in JSON or similar, there's going to need to be some processing, before an output. It'd be interesting to see what other functionality the server offered. So I can't remember myself. new window. Let's just switch this. Where did I book it? It's probably my other one. There we go. Now I did get ChatGPT to do a lovely. I don't know if I need to switch the stage thing off. That might help. So this was one thing I was trying to do before, and I bet this is expired because it was saying it did before, which doesn't surprise me. That's why I haven't done it. I actually used a tool. It was too slow for me. I don't know if I kept this. Let's just go into. There's 2 tasks for me to check there. One of them is, let me get this. Yeah, I know it's yeah, that's what happens every time. It's like, you know, some people maybe just don't have their own mind. Do you know what I mean? Able to create, and you have to just take everything from everyone else. Now, this does have a memory module, which this is the server, which is sort of the middleman, which is it's a pipeline, so you can use MCP commands, the text-to-speech, the voice activity detection. Now, that's something I've not looked at, but that's going to be where awake word is, like you say, Alexa. She's off, thank God. You say Alexa, she picks your voice up and then is able to respond. That's what that is there. Automatic speech recognition is speech to text. Emotion and spoken content. That is possible with a provider like Hume. In fact, I did wonder about that for something else. Hume's quite good, and Hume's good for creating voices by prompt as well. But that can detect intent. Deepgram can, but I just don't know about moving that Deepgram configuration into this function called in memory module. I've not looked at. I'm proposing using the MCP endpoint. The MCP client to connect to. Yeah, what? I don't know which one I call it. Anyway, it doesn't matter because this is why I'm not. I don't need to because it'll work. I get them mixed up. That's storage there, permanent storage. So the storage, it might be in terms of the storage, it might be worthwhile using an MCP just for portability, and that isn't a word about the device, and I'm probably using it wrong, but I know what I'm configuring it as. So if the storage is done by if the storage is done, so vector storage by MCP, it means that if I take down the server, all the MCP functionality is separate. So it remains, but if I do permanent storage on the server and need to delete it for cost, or if it's insecure and things like that, I'm going to lose the storage for the user, which is only me at this stage, but it'd be nice to be able to carry that over, and then that makes more sense because it ties in. Storage is different from memory. So the memo is mem0 is user specific memory about little tasks, about preferences, about beliefs, values, personality traits, accommodations for accessibility. That's all handled there, but vector storage, and then it's called in a dynamic way. So it's called when there's a question that relates to something that tool might need to be called. Whereas the storage that I'm referring to a bit further down in terms of vector storage, that is long-term storage, or if a document is retrieved, which I'm doubting is going to I'm going to do in this little bad boy, but because this is portable in the sense that you'd be able to plug into those same MCP tools, the same LLM provider, but in a desktop app, and it just not be offered in the service to the device. Maybe I'm not. I hope I'm making that sense. But that might be, say, if a document's retrieved and added to storage for it to consider before a response is made, or whether a task has been sent to go and find me the last 10 public medical articles on XYZ, and then it adds them to memory so that it's able to reference them. That goes into storage. So those terms might be used interchangeably. I haven't set a time for this. So one of the things with ADHD is time blindness and time, unawareness, time blindness, in that you think things take so long and we don't, and we do. I'm just, although it is a hobby type task in terms of this isn't going to be something I'm selling, it's important for me to get some content, for me to navigate this from start to scratch, and that it's a totally different solution than a application or just a flow, in that there's the hardware, and that hardware sort of goes back to when I was a kid fixing phones. So yeah. None of it would be lost work. There's some stuff that's proprietary that I won't cover, so I'll keep that out, but this will still remain fully functional and still to the end result. And I sort of say it's like infancy, early stage. But it leads into the personal companion that I want to be able to deliver. But obviously there's proprietary stuff that makes it mine and makes it specific that won't be covered. But this is all stuff that anyone could do and replicate and make their own. And hopefully I'll get some good content. If my camera doesn't fall off my screen, if I don't have issues with screen and stuff. So that's why I'm doing these sort of test vids and getting to it and exploring still. And I explore all day, every day. That's part of just how I work. Constantly taking information in, but I'm conscious that I need to obviously translate the information into hard stuff. So I've got applications which I've built, sort of packaged and prototyped across places, and I've got my vision and things like that. But yeah, that's where I'm at with this. So I'm looking forward to doing that. I've had a morning where I had cables and tech and items everywhere, and bags and bags and bags, because I'll get a bag and then I'll get rid of it. So I've gone through all of my desk space and cleared it in anticipation for what I'm going to be able to do on here as well. One of the other things is you won't be able to see it on here, but I'll be able to do desk view. So I mean, that's just not the correct. that's not what I'll position my screen appropriately so that there'll be a desk view for any bits where there's plugins, to see how the device is responding to any other little bits like that. I don't think there'll be too many, but that's one of the good things about using my iPhone. So I think that's it. I think weird energy for myself today, but that's not unusual, and it's not unusual to be loved by anyone. Ba-da-da-da-da-da. Not unusual to have fun with anyone. Ba-da-da-ba. So I think I've got all the little bits that I need to use, and then I'll go through them, properly, and explain things continuously, and then I'll run the videos through some tools to extract anything that's worth extracting, and then hopefully have a case study at the end, even if it does look a bit high school project. it will lead into something else because I've got some other stuff moving in, and then obviously the proprietary stuff underneath my secret sauce. So yeah, all is well. All is well. And I'm not in hell. So I'm looking forward to seeing what comes of it. I think I'm prepared, although my preparedness doesn't look prepared. So those sessions where I'm scooting all around, that is my way of gathering intel. It's like this spider web. So we have spider web thinking, if you're neurodivergent, in that something will be said and you'll think about this, and it's almost like you're thinking about the process. Is it, oh, it could be this, and then these eventualities, and I do that. And it's funny that someone actually said to me I had, spider fingers in the way that I use the computer, which I know is a bit unconventional, but that's me. But equally, spider web searching, so I'm like, but it does all pull down at the right point. So yeah, that's that. Just a short one. I've tidied. I'm hoping by tomorrow my equilibrium is much more regular in terms of the pain, but I can't complain. So yeah,